Well, as you may know by now, the Big South Conference is announcing its all-decade teams for each individual sport throughout the month of June. The Flames are well represented, specifically in football. Liberty with 7 former Flames on the all-decade Big South football squad, and we're joined by 2 of those gentlemen today. Former Flames wide receiver Chris Summers and former defensive end Chima Uzowihe. Guys, it's great to have you here. And Chris, you and I were chatting before we got started. It seems like it's been a long time, 2011, your last season, but once you start seeing some familiar faces, it starts coming back to you, doesn't it?
Exactly. Like I said, we was briefly talking about before this chat started is how I've been removed from college for 10 years now. I just can't believe it. But, of course, very appreciative for the accolades. Of course, like thank my teammates. They made it happen, so just very appreciative.
And Chima, it's good to see you again. Of course, you've got the block heard around the world that still lives in Liberty Lure today. That
Nice.
2014 game against Coastal Carolina, we'll get into that in a bit. But Chima, how are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed to be here. Just like Chris said, I'm thankful to still be recognized for the time, the blood, the sweat that we put in a few years ago.
Go through some of these names on this team here. So this is the all-decade team from the last decade for Big South football. Both of you, obviously, then offensive lineman John Burgess, former corner Walt Akins, former kicker Matt Bevins, punter Trey Turner, and long snapper Richard Wright. When I reel off some of those names, does that bring back some memories for you guys?
Oh, yeah, good memories because I play with a decent amount of them from Walt to John. You know, I've faced John in practice almost every day, so it's good to hear they're getting the recognition they deserve also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the same here. As soon as I hear Walt's name, I still remember when Walt transferred in from Illinois, he had to sit out that year. And me and him know I give him a lot of the credit for me having that first All-American season. Because that whole year he was off. Me and him used to have those battles every single day in practice. Of course, Matt Bevins was a great kicker for us, so it's good to have my other teammates recognized as well.
It's funny to go back into the record books and look, and some of these records still stand for you guys. I mean, Chris, I thought that Antonio Gandy Golden had broken just about every record that there was for a Liberty receiver, but you still have the single-season touchdown record at 15. I don't even know if you remember that or not.
Yeah.
Definitely do. I thought that Andy Golden broke it because he pretty much crushed all my other records. But like I said, records are meant to be broke. But I'm glad that 15 is still standing strong. I like to give Mike Brown a lot of the credit for a lot of those passes and touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike was fun to watch when he was throwing the ball to you out there. And Chima, you still have that, as far as I can tell, looking back at the record books in the Big South, you still have the record for most sacks in a career at 25. And I know you've got the school record still in that department. Can you believe that record's standing up here over the test of time?
It's crazy. I didn't think. I mean, I thought the guy behind me would, go ahead and take that, Juwan Wells, because he's a phenomenal player also. But, I mean, I'm glad they're still there. But like Chris said, the records are meant to be broken. But I'm glad I can set a goal that somebody else can reach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of the memories for you guys, as I said, both of you have a lot of good memories playing against Coastal Carolina. And those were rivalry games. You didn't always win, but it was always a great game. And Chris, go back to you first, just going chronologically here. 2009, it's homecoming weekend. It's October. It's an afternoon game. And you talk about Mike Brown. He wasn't the full-time quarterback yet at that point, but he hit you with a pretty pass to blow that game open. You remember that?
I definitely do, and it has to be the catch over Josh Norman because pretty much wherever I went at, Josh Norman would pretty much follow me. So I remember me and Norman having a lot of battles, but I definitely remember the play you're talking about. I think it was more like a rollout, like Mike was going to act like he was running, and then he pulled up and launched it to me. And like I said, I was able to get past Norman. It was a great play for a good touchdown. And like I said, the atmosphere was beautiful. Homecoming, you always got to win a homecoming.
Yeah, that made it, I think, 30-6 at that point. So you guys, I mean, the route was on at that point. And you're right. Mike was lined up as a running back. Tommy Beecher was the quarterback, and then hit you with that halfback pass down the field. 3 catches, 99 yards in that game. That's all it took for you to rack up almost 100. But what do you remember about those battles with Coastal and then also Stony Brook? I mean, gosh, you saved your best for last against Stony Brook, 10 catches, 240 yards in 2011.
Yeah, like I said, those battles with Coastal was always I would say, very heated because the talk up leading beforehand, the players that they had. Of course, I already mentioned Josh Norman. Me and him would battle and go at it literally every single play, even on run plays. I was trying to give him the business. So, but yeah, a lot of battles with Coastal and Stony Brook. A lot of. Even though I had a great game, but it's still bittersweet because we ended up losing. Of course, if we won that game, we would have went to the playoffs. So I would think that made it the second time that Stony Brook kind of knocked us out of going to the playoffs. But yeah, like I said, bittersweet. But wish we could have gotten to the playoffs at least one of those years.
And you talk about Josh Norman. We all know he's still in the league to this day.
Yeah.
8 years in the NFL, just went to the Bills. So those were always fun to watch you two go at it. But Chima, Chris just mentioned playoffs, and your junior year, I think it was in 2014, you guys were still trying to get over that hump and get the program in the FCS playoffs. And it wasn't looking real good coming down the stretch at Coastal Carolina. It's 15-14. Coastal's about to line up for a chip shot field goal to win it. And you were able to come away with that block. I mean, do you still remember the emotion of that day?
Oh, yeah. I remember it like it happened yesterday. The moment I realized I blocked it and I sprinted to midfield was just like excitement, man. It's funny because up until that point, I didn't think I was having that great of a game, and it was really close. We were all tired. And I knew like it was coming down to this one play. And I felt like it was in my hands and I needed to make something happen. And I did what I could.
Yeah, and certainly a great memory for all of you running out there, like you said, sprinting out to midfield. You had another block that year, though. I was going back in the stats and looking at. Do you remember what that other block was? Because I can't.
Junior year.
Would have been 2014.
One thing I can tell you, it was one of 2014. I know it was probably one of the first games of the year. I don't remember exactly who it was. I do remember it was at the beginning of that football season, though.
Well, that's not the one, obviously, that stands out
no,
for
that
everyone
matters,
now,
right.
looking back
right.
on it. But you were part of that first FCS playoff team, and certainly a big-time honor there as well. But want to kind of get an update on both of you guys, what you're doing now. Chris, I know you had a little bit of time in the NFL, but what's going on with Chris Summers now?
Yeah, so now, of course, after kind of saw the writing on the wall, kind of hung the cleats up, got into medical sales. I'm actually out here living in Phoenix, Arizona now. As you can see, I'm inside with the AC on because I think it's probably like 110 degrees outside. So, so that's pretty much what I'm up to now, medical sales, and me still having, I would say, a passion for shoes, which is kind of like a side gig, but I get people shoes too as well. So like I said, just finding ways to allow people not to miss out on those release dates. Whether or not, like I said, medical sales and just trying to stay out the heat when it's 80 something.
Chima, what about you?
Same. I'm down in Houston, Texas, so it's just this hot plus the humidity. So, just working, trying to figure it all out. I'm still growing, still trying to be a better me.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. Just living.
And how much do you guys keep up with the football team now? I mean, can you believe how far this thing's come just in a short span of time?
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody that's in that, organization anymore. It's changed so much. They've grown so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last time I went back was actually in 2015 when I was recovering from my ACL surgery, having rehab. And looks like a totally different campus, especially now since then. Of course, I keep in touch with BJ Hayes since he's on the strength and conditioning staff. I always ask him what players to look for, who's going to be good this year. So I always stay on top of what the program has going on.
Yeah, you guys played on some really talented teams, Chris. You just mentioned BJ Hayes. I was going back looking through those stats. Your freshman year, I mean, you were on a 10-win team that year. And you were playing every game, but, I mean, there were so many guys, your freshman year. I mean, there was Zach Terrell, Dominic Bolden had a huge year. Obviously, Rashad Jennings was a senior. I mean, that was such a talented football team. I mean, can you remember playing or seeing a team that was that talented?
Come to think of it, I really can't, because that would be I guess would kind of set the foundation for the turnaround in the football program, starting off with my redshirt freshman year. Like you said, mentioning all the players that we had. Didn't have too many playing time or snaps on offense. But I know I was on special teams. I made sure that I gave everything that I got while I was playing on the special teams. But like you said, having Rashad Jennings, Zach Terrell, and Dominic Bowden. You had Nick Hershey on defense. You had who else? Kent Hicks. You had so many elite athletes. So great team. Like I said, practice would be full of fun and excitement and a lot of people running around. But like I said, those teams were loaded. But I still would like to put that team up against my senior team. And I think we'll give them business.
Wow. Okay. I like that. I would pay to see that, actually. Chima, what about you? How do you think that 2014 team could hang with some of those teams that Chris was on?
I don't know. Chris, he named some heat on some of those teams, from Rashad Jennings to, Bolden. Like, yeah, they had some heat. But I think we could hang with them because we had Jacob Hagan, Darren Peterson. We had Nick Sigmund. Like, we had a pretty solid team. We had some dudes who could really make some things happen.
If I'm not mistaken, both you guys ended up with 3 championship rings, right?
Yep.
I think I got 4. I got 4 rings.
4?
Was it 4?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, the only one we didn't win was that the automatic bid, and we didn't go.
Right.
Stony Brook. I'm trying to think.
So it would have been 08, 09, 10. What's that?
Yeah.
Was that the season y'all should have went like undefeated and lost to Stony Brook?
The year that they finally made it, the automatic bid, and we ended up losing. I was so when that was the game he was telling me about as far as the 10 catches for 200 plus yards. So that was that game.
Yeah, that would have been the 2011 season. Yeah. So, wow. Well, what a trip down memory lane. You guys certainly part of a lot of Liberty football history, and it's been a lot of fun to watch the history continue to unfold here at such a rapid pace. We got to get you guys back on campus here.
I know. I need to come back. It doesn't even look the same at all.
For sure. I got to mark the calendar this year for homecoming. Got to make sure I make it back.
Absolutely. And when you guys do, let me know, and we'll get you on the radio. That's what we do with all our retired former athletes. We put them on the radio.
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
All right. That's Chris Summers, Chima Uzowihe, a couple of Liberty greats, and Big South all-decade members here as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.